In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the Nike Pegasus 37 against the Vomero number 15. Hey, what's up everyone and welcome back to 40 Runs. How are we all doing? Let me know in the comments. And while you're down there, tell me, do you own a pair of either of these shoes? Maybe an older version. Let me know in the comments and also how you're getting on with them. Very interested and I'll check those comments out once this video drops. Right, so the reason for the video is thinking that you're probably on the Nike website looking for a new pair of Nike shoes, and both of these are on there. Both kind of daily trainers-ish, similarly sort of priced-ish, but which one do you go for? So hopefully I'm going to help you with that today. But before we get into that, let's get into some of the stats and some of the features of both of these shoes. Right, so we're going to start off with the Peg 37, which has been out a while now, and you can actually pick this up in some places for between 50 and 75 pounds if you don't care about the colours and you know, you're lucky with your sizes. On average, it's still around £100 in some places, but yeah, so you can pick it up cheap is my point, versus the Vomero, which is £130, but this is just dropped. So what did they do with the Nike Pegasus 37? So they stuck a full-length React foam to the shoe. They reworked the upper, mesh upper. The shoe weighs just over 10 ounces. It's got a 10mm drop. It's a neutral running shoe. You've got AirPods up the front. They switched them and moved them all up to the front to try and give you some more sort of pop from the shoe with the React foam, and they've tuned them up depending on men's versus women's. I think that's probably most of the features of the shoe. Let me just double check my notes. Yep, so we sorted that one out. Okay, then we come on to the Vomero 15. Now the Vomero 15 has got Zoom X in it. It's also got this SR02 foam compound, which is like a carrier foam around the Zoom X, because the Zoom X is a sensitive little fella, so they've added some SR02, which is from the Joyride. You've also got, like the Pegasus, a Zoom air pocket up the front. You've got a decent heel counter on the shoe. You've got a heel bevel, which is trying to get you some transition through heel to toe. A mesh upper. The shoe weighs 11.1 ounces, and it's also got a 10mm drop. Okay, so that's the stats and the features done. Right, so with that out of the way, let's talk about fit. The Pegasus 37, if you've not seen it in my videos, check it out, but basically I moaned a lot about how narrow it was. The Vomero comes up relatively okay. I wouldn't say it's wide, but it's definitely wider than the Pegasus. You get a lot of heel slippage in the Pegasus 37, or I do, sorry, which is a real problem. It's just annoying, and this year I've noticed a few of the Nikes have got a bit of heel slippage, where with the Vomero, I think because it's got so much padding around the heel, I've not had that. Tongues, this is massive, this tongue in here. I don't know why it's so big, but actually it's got a little bit of foam, so it's nice and comfortable. This is all right. It's more of a racier sort of tongue. It's not flat, not even there. The lacings are good on both. You can get a real good lockdown on both of the shoes. What else? Heel counter. Very noticeable on this. I think that's driven by the Zoom X, which is a softer compound, where the React's a little bit firmer, so you do get the stability from the heel counter on the Vomero. You've got this lateral side, what was it called? There's this foam strip of lateral side, and what are they, hang on, wait there. Acts as a cushioning device for a smooth transition. I think that's just marketing talk, but that's what that is. You've got nothing like that on the Nike Pegasus 37. Outsoles, both good. This has got loads of rubber on it, as you can see. High abrasion rubber. Does make quite a noise. If you've not seen the review originally of this shoe, I did check that out, because I played it back, some of it, and it makes a hell of a racket. It's very much like the Nike Next Percent Tempo. The Pegasus has got a great outsole. That's one of the huge positives with the Pegasus. It's really, really good. But both of them on the outsoles are very good, both very durable, and will last you forever. Okay, right, so which one do I prefer? Well, I'll tell you what, actually, before we get into which one I prefer, let's talk a little bit about the compounds in the terms of how they feel. So the updated Vomero, we've got Zoom X. We've got this SR02, which is a foam that comes over from the Joyride, which is the one with all the balls and bubbles, and it's a terrible running shoe. But anyway, they've brought that compound over to mix it up with the Zoom X as a carrier foam to just add that little bit of stability and sort of durability into the Zoom X, because we know with the Zoom X it is very soft. It is a high energy return midsole, but it is, I wouldn't say unstable, but you know, it is there. You know, they put it in their high performance shoes. It really does, you know, cushion up and send you on your way. So they've added that little bit of stability in there, and that little bit of what's the best way, sort of guardrails along, you know, like you get in the bowling alley. Just there, that little protects you, just to protect you, to keep you on your way. That's the way I kind of look at it. So they've added that foam in there as well. Both of, oh, and this has got full length React. So React foam, which I'm a huge fan of. It's a little bit firmer. It's a little bit sort of more, it's not as soft as the Zoom X. The Zoom X is like, it's just high energy return and springy, and you really feel it. With the React, it's a nice balance between hard and soft. It's that nice middle ground. I keep saying nice, I know that, but you just feel confident in that shoe to be able to put your foot down if you need it, but you can back off and it's comfortable over longer distance as well. And that's probably a great way to describe the React foam. In the front of these shoes, we've got these two air pockets, these Air Zoom pockets, and both act in a similar sort of way. I think it's more noticeable, the Zoom pocket in the Pegasus 37. I think that's probably because with the Vomero, you seem to really sort of notice the feel of the Zoom X versus the pod in the front. It's such a soft ride if you're especially if you're mid to heel strike. With the React foam, it's more a firmer ride, but I mean React's not a firm compound anyway. But you're more noticeable that your fact that you're getting onto that Zoom unit and getting the pop off of it. But yeah, both very similar in that sort of term. Okay, so that's that out of the way. And how do they compare in terms of feeling? Right, so I think I'm going to put the issues I have with the Pegasus 37 to one side in terms of quality, fit and all that, right? So let's just say Nike have made an awesome Pegasus 37. It's not put together by a 5-year-old who's glue happy and they don't really care for how it fits, right? Put all that to one side and let's just pretend that it's made really well and it doesn't slip around and all that sort of stuff. In terms of feel, when you're out there, I think the Pegasus 37 is definitely the more probably versatile out of the two. You can really, you know, pick up the pace in this shoe more than this shoe. You can definitely run a fast 5K and a marathon in this shoe. With this shoe, I think this is more of a long run shoe, easy pace shoe, recovery run shoe. And I tell you why, because when you're out in this, it just feels more comfortable and more to my liking on those easy paces when I'm more sort of mid-foot striking. I can really feel that Zoom X and the bounce and the spring from the Zoom X, and it's just really comfortable, and I can just keep that, maintain a pace and just keep eating miles. Where the Pegasus, you can do that, but it's obviously a little bit firmer, but it just, you feel like you want to run a little bit quicker in it, and you've got the confidence to run a little bit quicker. And I think that's probably for me the biggest difference between the two. This shoe is suited more for those easier, longer runs, where the Pegasus can actually do all of it. I wouldn't necessarily run a fast-paced 5K, might just be unfair, but let's just say you can only buy one pair of shoes. So I wouldn't necessarily run a fast 5K in this shoe. I think I'd run a faster 5K in this shoe. That's the sort of feeling I'm getting, even though this has got Zoom X. But I think the Zoom X comes into its own on those sort of easier, longer runs, actually, on this shoe versus that. I think that, well, I hope that makes sense. So in a way, I'm kind of telling you to get the Pegasus 37 because it's more versatile. But actually, I can't help but sway you towards the Vomero because I just think the Zoom X and the combination with what they've done with it actually provides a nicer, more comfortable ride. And this is the problem I've got with Nike. Both of these shoes are heavy, 10 ounces, well, it's over 10 ounces, but and 11.1. I just feel like there's better shoes on the market which you could be looking at. £130, £100. You know, why not go and get yourself a pair of Saucony Triumph 18? why not go and get yourself a pair of Atreyu, or, you know, New Balance Beacon 3, or, you know, Saucony Shift, or, you know, there's better shoes out there than both of these, and I think that's the problem. I'm trying to be fair and recommend one of them to you, and if you made me, I'd probably go with the Vomero, because I prefer the Zoom X, and for me it would fit in more for those easy longer run days. But actually, you know, go and buy something else.